This is a Claude Code skill that I created to stand up an EC2 instance for coding with Claude Code. It includes a bunch of my favorite tools. So here's the skill file. You can see it stands up an Ubuntu instance, installs various things, including Claude Code and some other packages we'll get into. This is instructing Claude how to do it. The tools that it installs includes Git, Claude Code, of course, Beads, which is a great issue tracker by Steve Yagi. You should read about it if you haven't heard about it already. Agent Deck is my current tool of choice for managing multiple Claude sessions, and it does it behind a single pane of glass in a tmux window. And Playwright is also useful because if you're making web apps, Playwright on Ubuntu can run headless. This skill also has a resource, which is the CloudFormation file, the YAML file, which specifies how to create this infrastructure. So its infrastructure is code, and this executes in the AWS environment. And it installs everything on the EC2 you need, and it even includes writing a Claude MD file, which tells Claude about beads and how to use it. So to install this, you go to my GitHub and you can install john-claude-skills as a marketplace, and then you have access to it. So then all you have to do is spin it up. So you're in a Claude Code session and say, hey, using your skill, I want a new EC2. And it goes off and it reads the skill file, and then it asks you some questions. These are the parameters that have to be filled out. Things like, do you have a particular AWS profile you want to use? Is there a particular GitHub repo you want to work against? It needs your SSH key for connecting to your GitHub. And also it'll ask you if you have an SSH key for getting into your EC2 or if it should create one itself. And then once it has all of those properties, it goes ahead and runs several steps for you. Now, you can just have a CloudFormation script and run it from a shell command and do it, but I kind of like having the agent doing this because it's handling a bunch of stuff in the background that I would have done myself, but now I could largely ignore it. It seems that dangerously skip permissions doesn't really work. I still have to monitor Claude because it'll ask me questions now and again. So when I'm using this skill to stand up in EC2, I just have an eye on the terminal session to make sure that it's all going well. But some of the things that Claude is doing in the background is not only does it run the YAML and stand it up, but because Claude knows the AWS CLI so well, it's checking on it. It's checking to see if the EC2 is up. If it's up, it's checking to see if it can connect. If it can connect, it's checking to see the status of the installation of the various tools, the Claude Code, the Agent Deck, the MCP, etc. That can take some time, but it'll automatically do kind of a sleep and check again sort of thing. So if you're watching the clock in the upper right-hand corner of the video, you'll see that it takes a little less than 10 minutes to go through this whole thing, which honestly isn't that bad. It's not great. I would like this to be automated more, I suppose, but whatever. This is actually a really handy skill. And then once it's done, it tells you everything that's been installed. It's verified that everything works. And it gives you the command so that you can SSH in. So then once you do that, you see that, boom, you have your EC2. And then you can run Claude and you have to authenticate to it. So I'm not going to show you these screens. But once that's done, then you're running. Then I like to exit Claude. I like to go to the project directory that I'm working on, right? So in this case, remember we specified a Git repo, so it checked out that Git repo. So I could cd into it. Now I use Agent Deck because remember, Agent Deck is giving me a protected Claude Code session behind tmux. So once I'm in Agent Deck, I could start a session. And in this case, I might say I want to work on the back end of my application. And then I wait a couple of seconds and Claude Code stands up. And now I say, hey, we're using beads for task management. Check to see what's up. Now this is really handy because beads is like shared memory for agents. So not only is it useful if your agent crashes or your server restarts and you got to get back up and working on it again, but you can create multiple EC2s or even multiple sessions on one EC2 that's working against the same repo, and they're all communicating using beads. And that's really the brilliance of beads. It's shared memory. And because this is all run as infrastructure as code, you can see it in the terminal and cloud formation, and then you can just kill it from there, so you don't have stale resources that clog up your AWS environment over time. And I could even kill that stack from my Claude Code session that I used to create it in the first place. So I find this handy, and maybe you will too.